Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United versus Everton here in Atlanta. Joining me as always is Mr. Joe Smith. This preview is brought to you by Betfred, proud sponsors of not just Manchester United, but also Stretford, Paddock. Joe, we keep winning.
We keep winning.
Right? I don't care if it's friendlies. We're winning, yeah? And that is what football is all about. It's all about winning. How important are the 3 M's? Momentum,
Maguire.
momentum.
Massively important.
Yeah.
And maybe more important for us than any other team in the Premier League right now. Because everyone else, I know some teams had bad years, some teams had good years. I get all that. No one underachieved as much as us last year.
That's true.
Not a single team in the Premier League finished further down the table than they thought they would. We have to start the season with momentum. And that doesn't necessarily mean beat, Arsenal, beat Liverpool, Chelsea, all those guys. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But it means that we need to keep seeing performances like we have done. Because I think what our fans can stomach and what I can stomach personally, I'll speak for myself, is hard-working, well-drilled, good, honest performances. I know this is a little bit sort of like I'm talking like I'm running a political campain here.
No, I agree.
But we need to see some of these fundamentals from Manchester United because last season was so embarrassing. Not just off the pitch and, in terms of the results in the league table, but on the pitch, the way those results panned out was embarrassing. Players looked like they didn't want to be there. Players looked sort of feeling sorry for themselves. We had all these players kicking off, falling out with the manager, coming out in press conferences. It was, I don't want to use the word disgrace because it's too much, but it was absurd. It was absurd. And we need to turn that around and immediately get the feeling that there is some positivity at Manchester United again. And even if that's in friendlies, look at the way everyone's speaking about us. Look at the way we feel about us. Look at the way the comments are. Look at the way the journalists are talking and Amarim and the players are talking. It matters. It really does matter. And in any workplace in the world, it doesn't matter whether you're a footballer, wherever you work, whatever you do, players who have a confidence and a momentum and who feel like the work they're putting in is turning into results any workplace improves off the back of that. It's easier to do the hard stuff. It's easier to do the running. It's easier to press your man in the 90th minute when you feel like you're running and working as a collective and that hard work is paying off. And if we can just get that feeling and keep that feeling going, that's the only way next season can be a success. So bizarrely, I'm not saying this is a must-win game by any means, but just keep up that performance, keep up that intensity. The momentum is so crucial for United at the minute.
No, I couldn't agree more. And I like the fact that we've taken this a little bit more seriously than we have done in previous seasons because as all the reasons you mentioned, we have to. We can't just sort of treat this as like, let's give some of the kids a go. I don't mean you don't give them sort of, minutes, but let's just play all the kids. Let's change the entire team. Let's not really show that.
The manager have a few minutes.
Yeah,
like Fergie
let
did.
the ball boy take the throw in. Let's, it's a bit of a laugh, innit? Because we need that sort of seriousness, that momentum, that energy to carry into that Arsenal game because that is a massive test for us. And also, as well as I do, that if we do get a bad result against Arsenal on the opening day at Old Trafford, already people start questioning his manager because of the season you've just spoken about. So I couldn't agree more with everything you've just said. Make sure you get involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think as well. For this game, Betfred have given us a bet builder. Me and Joe have got together again to make another bet builder. This time it's Manchester United to win, Bruno Fernandes to score at any time, and both teams to score. That is up from 9-2 boosted to 11-2. Remember, Betfred rules do apply. Be gamble aware. 18 plus. Maximum stakes may vary, and those prices are correct at the time of recording. As always, there's a link in the description to Betfred, so go and check them out. Bryan Mbeumo is on this tour. He has been training. We saw him training after the first game in New Jersey. He was on the pitch. We've seen him training. He hasn't got any minutes yet, but all the sort of rumours, reports, indications are that he is going to feature. Yeah. Whether that's a start or a cameo or a second half, we as far as we know, he will feature in this game. And things can obviously change, but it does look like he's going to play some part on this US tour, and there's only one game left.
Yep.
So we'd expect to see him. How important do you think it is to see him getting into this team before, obviously we've got another friendly, I think, against Fiorentina before the Arsenal game, but before the Premier League starts, how important do you think it is just to get him into the side?
Massively. We saw him at training the other day. I think it was it him and Ahmad sort of running through and getting the slaps on the back? I think, I don't know if it was this, but Mbeumo was the last one out, so maybe it was whoever came out last got a little sort of slap from everyone. But it felt like there's a sort of camaraderie and a good feeling in the camp. And Mbeumo, is a massive part of that. And not necessarily because his personality, we don't really know his personality yet. He's very new to Manchester United. We are, I've seen the interview with Rio, but we'll have to wait and see on that front. But what he does bring undoubtedly is expectation and quality. And, we've seen what he's done at Brentford. And I don't think he's going to get 20 goals for us because you can take the penalties away straight away because Bruno's still on them. But if you can have a winger that's getting double digits goals and pushing double digits assists, I always think for any creative player, double digits goals and assists is the benchmark. That's what Wayne Rooney would hit every single season. And that is, you're a very, very good player if you can do that and you are part of a productive team. And I think he can do that. I think he's a very good player. And I think, like you said, they brought him out on tour. Obviously, he's done a load of training, so it wouldn't be for nothing, even if he didn't play. But I'm almost certain that he will. We heard, didn't we, earlier in the week, that, he wasn't going to play those first 2 games, or last week, I guess now. Yeah. He wasn't going to play those first 2 games. He didn't.
Yeah. There
was no word that he wouldn't play the third.
No.
I'm almost certain that he will, because he's had this time to sort of get up to speed. By the sound of it, he hadn't done a lot of training at Brentford.
No.
I think that, I don't want to say he was kicking off, but I think, he was trying to put a bit of pressure on them to sell him, which I understand. Obviously, that means that he may be slightly behind fitness-wise, but he's such a talented player, and like we've said so many times, he's sensible. He does the right thing. He's predictable, and I think for his teammates, they're going to absolutely love that. It's been so difficult trying to pre-predict what Garnacho's going to do, or even at times Rashford, you think, is he going to cut inside and shoot? Is he going to, go down the byline? Is he going to shoot from some weird angle? I think with Mbeumo, you can predict a lot more what he's going to do, and I think that will help his teammates no end.
No, I agree with everything you've said there, and I think it almost gets to the point where it becomes a little bit counterproductive if you wait too long, and then it's like by the time the Arsenal game comes around, he's not quite there yet. He's not quite ready in the way that you'd want him to be. So I feel like the Everton game now, good level of opposition. We know Everton are a decent team. We know we're taking this tour seriously. So get him in there, get him in the Fiorentina game as well. And then by the time the Arsenal game comes around, he's had a couple of appearances for Manchester United. Hopefully got used to his teammates, and we can see him do the things that you mentioned that he did so well for Brentford. With all that being said then, should we get into predicted 11s?
Let's do it.
You can go first.
Okay.
Give me your predicted 11.
I've gone Tom Heaton in goal.
Yep.
I think, this bit of a toss of a coin between him and Bayern. I'm not sure what the manager's going to do, but that's, I've gone with Tom Heaton. Then a back 3, I've gone with Yoro, I've gone with De Ligt, and I've gone with Heaven. I really like all 3 of those players, and I think, I want to see that kind of physicality that those 3 bring. Not that Luke Shaw doesn't bring that, but he doesn't quite have that intensity, I think, that, you get from those guys. Maguire, again, I was looking before, he's played a couple of 90 minutes in Europe, but he only played 90 minutes twice since the 26th of February in the Premier League. And he got brought off again earlier than everyone else the other day. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know if there's some sort of niggling kind of ongoing injury, whether it's a fitness thing. I'm not sure. And maybe it's nothing. But he went from playing 90 minutes all the time, even under Amorim, to getting subbed off here, coming on late here, getting 60 minutes there, 30 minutes there. So maybe there's a sort of a bit of an ongoing injury with him. So I'm going to bring De Ligt back in there. Then there's the 2 wing backs. I want to see Ahmad and Dorgu. I want to see that again, because we saw Ahmad slightly further forward the other day, which I thought was good, but I want to see what those 2 can do, attacking it. Let's be honest, I know Everton are decent under Moyes, but a team that United should be able to hold possession against, should be able to control the game.
Yep.
Midfield 2, Ugarte and Bruno. Let's see it.
Okay.
Let's get them playing together. And then in front of them, we can have Mbeumo, Cunha and Højlund, who I do think, obviously Xerxes not been fully fit, but I do think Højlund will be, as it stands right now, United's first choice number 9 going into next season, if the Sesko deal doesn't come off.
Yeah, that all makes a lot of sense to me, to be fair. I think as well, we've both spoken to Patrick Dorgu on this tour, and I think this has so far been his tour. I think he's been mint.
Yeah.
I think he really has, and there was a few question marks one of the last season when he came in. I felt very sorry for him, because you're going from Lecce to Manchester United, which is a huge step up. It is massive. That's no disrespect to Lecce, but let's be real here.
In every way.
Yeah, they're not even one of the big Italian clubs. They're one of the clubs that the big Italian boys take players off. So to go from that club to this one in January, when we were already up against it, when we were already
in our worst ever season.
You're just joining a sinking ship, aren't you, really? Yeah, and then you're being thrown in, and there was a couple of things, obviously the sending off, I think it was against Ipswich, just things like that. It just didn't quite work out for him, but I thought there was enough signs there. So there's a player there, and we're seeing it on this tour. He's obviously had a little bit more time. It's a little bit more relaxed, and he knows his role in the team, and I think he's had the manager's showing faith in him. Again, it's only friendlies, but it does look like he is part of the manager's plans. So I've been very impressed with him, and I think that works as well in the way you said. My team is not that dissimilar, although there are some differences. I've gone with Bayern Deer in goal. I mean, flip a coin at this point. It could be either or. I've gone a back three of De Ligt, Maguire, and Aiden Heaven. I think we'll see what happens with him. I think he's got a role to play this season. He has, and I think he's done very well since he's come in. With the wing backs, by the way, I've got Ahmad and Dorgu. I get your thoughts on both those players. In the middle, I've gone with Mainu and Ugarte. I liked that when we saw it for that first game against West Ham. It'd be interesting to see what Ruben Amorim does with his midfield, and I want to see Kobbie Mainoo in this team. I keep saying it. He's such a talented lad. I'd hate to see him just be sat on the bench. I think you have to find a way to fit him in, and I think you can. I think you can get him in this team. I think him and Ugarte might work if Ugarte has the legs that we hope he does. I know it's a big if. Also, up front, or in the front three, I've gone with Bruno, I've gone with Mbeumo, and I've gone with Højlund. The only reason I've not put Cunha in is there was talk about the fatigue. I think he's just playing a little bit of catch-up fitness-wise after the first game, so he didn't feature against Bournemouth. I just feel like the manager might err on the side of caution here and just go, you know what? Let's wait till the Fiorentina game to try Yoon and Mbeumo together.
Yeah, you can have the 30 minutes or 20 minutes at the end.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't think it'd be a case of Cunha's not in the squad or not part of the game. I think he might just get a cameo because on pre-season, if there's any sort of hint of a knock, an injury, a player not being fully fit, you don't play him. Yeah. It's insane. I know the summer series is obviously the big one that we all want to win.
It's a real Premier League.
But it's insane, so we risk anything. So I just feel he might go, let's just not start Mercedes Cunha. I could be wrong, obviously, I often am. But we'll wait and see. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Let us know what you think about Joe's team, what you think about my team, who's impressed you, and whether you think, we've both got it wrong. I want to talk a little bit about Everton. Sorry to say again, it's Moise. They've gone back to him, haven't they? They did well last season. Obviously, it's sort of surpassed expectations and surpassed Manchester United as well while they're at it. I was chatting to an Evertonian during the Bournemouth game, funnily enough, and they've not exactly gone mad in the transfer window, it's safe to say, and there's still a few sort of concerns there that maybe they've not done the business that they need to do, and they've got this new stadium, of course. There's a few players left. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is a player that left that we've been linked with.
Yep.
Can Everton almost kick on? It was the sort of thing we were talking about, and is this new stadium going to add a little bit more pressure? Because Goodison, for all its flaws and some of the view wasn't great, it was a bit of a cauldron. It was a stadium where the crowd are on you, and sometimes that can help you. What do you make of Everton under Moyes and going into this game? What do you think about it?
As the years go by, I like David Moyes more and more.
Okay.
I think, obviously, his time at United was a disaster. Plenty of that was his fault. Some of that wasn't his fault. I think that, being chucked in there with the Ed Woodward that was learning on the job was going to be a nightmare for anyone. Coming in after Fergie was a nightmare for anyone. A somewhat aging squad, let's be honest. A lot of the best players in that team were, past their best, and that's not fun for anyone. He was also not up to the job. But I think he did fantastically at West Ham. In the couple of spells that he had there. He goes to Everton, immediately turns them around. They look phenomenal. Not as in, going to win the league, phenomenal, but they went from one of the worst teams in the league to a really difficult team to beat. I think David Moyes is a very good manager and probably a top 10 Premier League manager of all time.
Okay.
I think obviously you take the title winners out, he's probably right up there next in that list. So I think that, he's a very good coach, and I think Everton are a decent side. But they're in that position that, you can be in when they had so many big windows. They properly went for it, didn't they? When they were buying players, they were getting Ancelotti in, they would spend a lot of money on players, big wages. Didn't quite work out, didn't quite get them the European football they wanted. And then they've sort of floundered afterwards for a few years. I wonder if we'll see Villa do a similar thing, by the way, in the next 3 or 4 years coming up. But I generally speaking, I quite like Everton.
Yeah,
I think they've got some decent players.
I like Everton.
Yeah, and there's that sort of enemy of my enemy is my friend principle with them. We're both not keen on Liverpool, obviously. But yeah, I think David Moyes is a decent guy. Andy Mitten speaks highly of him, doesn't he?
He met him, didn't he? Just before we interviewed Andy Mitten, he literally we interviewed Mitten outside the hotel where he just interviewed David Moyes. And Mitten was saying, like, you know what, people have the wrong idea about Moyes. Actually, a funny guy who, listen, I'm not going to pretend his time at United was anything other than disastrous, but I don't think he was helped by the situation with David Gill leaving and Ed Woodward coming in, and that absolutely shambolic transfer window where we were running around trying to get, was it Tony Cruz or whatever, and ended up getting Fellaini, who I quite like, but, sort of paying over the odds for him, and then trying to get was it Fabio Contrao last minute
There's all
and
sorts
the
going
Herrera
on.
when it
Yeah,
wasn't
it's
even
a
United
nightmare.
people talking. It was just a mess.
I think though with Everton, they play a type of football that not a lot of teams play anymore.
Yeah.
Where they're not doing this crazy intensity, high pressing stuff. Moyes doesn't really make his teams play like that. Obviously, they work hard and they work hard off the ball, but we should be able to keep possession. We should be able to, hold the ball, keep the ball, and it'll be good to see how these new players, particularly Cunha and Mbeumo, if they do play, manage to make chances for our attackers when there's less space. You're not going to rely on winning the ball high up and getting goals that way. It's going to have to be breaking a team down, and I'm looking forward to see how we do against a style like that.
No, I am. I think you make a good point. It's been a decent sort of tour. It's been in terms of the level of opposition because it's good teams rather than the best. And I think, had we been thrown in against like Liverpool, Arsenal, and City, I know they're not on this, but had it been that's we might have ended up getting battered or thinking, oh god, we're miles away. But playing decent opposition that United should be beating really,
but have struggled against in recent seasons.
It makes a lot of sense. It's kind of ideal.
Perfect.
And I know that sounds a bit too bit, but this is where we're at the minute. So yeah, get involved in the chat in the comments. Let me know what you think about Everton, about what you think about this game. Finally, as well, Joe, score predictions.
I think we're going to win.
Yep.
Obviously, we've got that in our bet builder. I do think we're going to win the game. I think that it's going to be a little bit more free scoring again as well.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm going to go 4-2 Manchester United. Or maybe 3-2 Manchester United.
Well, which one is it?
I know, I need to pick. I'll go 3-2 Manchester United. I think we'll control the game, do well. I think there might be a couple of goals in there for Everton toward the end or, a set piece or something like that. But I think we're going to continue this run of actually getting goals. And it won't just be Bruno either, but he will score.
Right, okay. You going 3-2. We had was it 4-1, wasn't it, against Bournemouth, which is decent scoreline. Good to see everyone getting in on the goals. I think we might see lightning strike twice. Go on. I think there's goals here again. I'm gonna go 4-1 again. Obviously,
double
like
4-1s.
Yeah, why not? Do you know what I mean? All for one and one for all. Yeah, I'll go 4-1 again. I think Bruno will be on the score sheet, and I think we'll have a goal from the debutant. I think Mbeumo's going to get a goal somewhere along the line. Whoever he starts or comes on, I think he'll get a goal. Let us know what you think about our score predictions. Let us know what you think about our predicted 11s as well. Let us know if you think we're wrong, and let us know if you think we're right.
Once again, big thank you to Betfred for sponsoring the show. Make sure you check out our bet builder. The link is in the description. That is Bruno Fernandes to score, both teams to score, and Manchester United to win. That has been boosted from 9-2 to 11-2. And it's worth pointing out as well, our last preview bet builder actually came in as well. So we're on a little decent run at the moment. Make sure you check out the link to that in the description. Of course, as always, 18 plus, be gamble aware. Betfred rules apply. The odds were correct at the time of filming and maximum stakes may vary. Thank you once again to Betfred for sponsoring the show. Make sure you check out that link in the description.
So this is it. This is our chance to win the Summer Series. And I don't know about you, but when I was a little boy, I used to dream that one day Manchester United would win the Summer Series.
Well, I used to dream one day that it would exist.
Yeah.
First of all, I would hope against hope that one day there will be a Premier League Summer Series.
Yeah, that.
And then that you used to dream that we'd win it.
Yeah, and we're almost there. We can taste it. We can sense it. It's going to happen.
I can smell it.
Yes. We are going to have a watch along for the
actually.
game back in Manchester. We're also going to have the reaction here in Atlanta after the game as well. So make sure you are hitting like, share, and subscribe. That's been Joe Smith. I'm Jay Motti. This has been a preview of Manchester United versus Everton. Thanks for watching.